Many thanks for staying tuned. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. Our first conversation this morning will be weighing in on the new ministerial nominees sent to the National Assembly by Mr. President. Additional 32 names were in that list, and this morning we intend to take a look at, some of the individuals that have made that list. And like some will say, is it better late than never, or is this also a time for Mr. President to withdraw that list, like the PDP has called for this morning, saying some individuals in that list have questionable character and should not be made to be the eyes of Nigeria in certain countries? Well, that conversation starts now, and joining us this morning is a lawyer and a media executive, Tosin Akonde. Thank you for being here on the program today.
As always. Good morning.
Right, Tosin, let's start this way. In the space of, I think, 3-4 days, Mr. President finally released names of some Nigerians to take position as non-career ambassadors. We've been craving for this particular list for so long, almost 2 years, and we've been asking the question, won't Nigeria have ambassadors in some of these countries? And finally, the bulk of the list came, I think it was on Friday or was it on Saturday?
Right.
And we have some individuals. But for you, before we look at those individuals, let's look at it's taken Mr. President this long to create a list.
Mm-hmm.
And what were your expectations, before the names came out, that at least if it's taken you this long to come up with a list, who were the kind of individuals you were expecting? Because again, it feels like this is just some kind of compensation list. So who were the kind of people you were expecting on the list?
First and foremost, I need to personally express my regrets at the fact that it's coming 2 years on. I remember at the outset of this administration, I was in Abuja and I made frantic efforts to get to talk to a few members of the National Assembly, particularly those in the Senate. Draft motions, that was my thrust. Draft motions to facilitate the composition of a list. A great list that would herald the greatness that we pray for Nigeria, because you don't put yourself in a pariah situation. Of course, most countries and international organizations force pariah statuses on countries. We've seen Nigeria gone through that before.
Right.
So, but now this time around, we are forcing it. Bless you. We are forcing it on ourselves.
Thank you. We
need to create our think tank. I was expecting names like Professor Akinyoyebode, a great jurist at the University of Lagos, retired now anyway. Right. Those are people who taught us, who mentored us. So, and sometimes you don't find such names and you begin to wonder which way Nigeria, but it's okay. I need to allay the fears of Nigerians that they are saying, what character of people, as it has always been the norm in international relations, you don't find the best of men holding ambassadorial postings. Maybe on a light note, there was a quote attributed to Sir Henry Wooten. I'm trying to remember his name now, get it correctly. Henry Wooten, when he said, an ambassador is an honest man sent abroad to lie for the good of his country. So if Nigerians are so worried about, hey, what kind of person is there, those are the real people that we need in diplomatics.
Okay, but looking at the perception of the international world about Nigeria lately, especially for the problem of insecurity and the alleged Christian genocide in the country, should ambassadorial appointment be a reward for loyalty or national interest?
Both.
Looking at what we are facing at this moment. I have to be
very factual about that. It's both. Because you won't expect me to send someone that I don't have no predilections for to represent me. Historically, the job of an ambassador is they are deemed to represent, they are so close to the heart and chest of the sovereign. So you won't expect Tinubu to call, who will I say is one of his greatest foes now? Maybe a Peter Obi.
Yeah, but there are members of PDP on this list.
That's why I say his greatest foe. It will not be his greatest foe. Not everybody is of the mindset of some of these statesmen who have been in advanced countries. So, yes, it's okay for me. The list is all right. Honestly, I tell Nigerians, calm down. What I am not happy particularly about is that this idea of sending names to the Senate just to rubber stamp and not tagging. We need to have, you know,
to the countries.
Yes, tag them to the countries that are about to be posted to, so that we look at, for example, you don't send a lame duck diplomat to a country like the United States, not even at a time that country is experiencing that kind of president it has. So we need to send our most colorful, the most brainy amongst our diplomats.
I think the first 3 names already had countries attached to them: United States, United Kingdom, and France. The first 3. The
first round, okay, maybe for reasons of education, I don't even know yet who is going to be our U.S. ambassador designate. I don't know yet, honestly. So we need the best of brains to go to such countries. You don't send those who will just say, okay, I concur on foreign envoys. No, you send your best, because it is very possible that the ambassador can even the nature of the ambassador can influence the decision of the host country over there towards the receiving, the sending country.
Yeah. Okay, you were going to ask a question?
Yeah, so now that you are saying that those that we are going to send should be men of integrity, timber and caliber.
That's right.
When you look at the list, I know that career diplomats are more than political diplomats.
What's the difference between 6 and half a dozen?
So shouldn't the list contain more of career diplomats, if indeed we are serious about our international relations?
Ordinarily, like I said, it has to be a blend of both.
Job for the boys?
At times. It goes that way at times, honestly, and then you find out that you see the main task that is required of an ambassador, a diplomat, is that he possesses enough wit, enough personnel to daze the officials of the receiving state. Not necessarily. Okay, I remember, for instance, I used to say to a lot of people that my 2 proudest moments that I existed as a Nigerian were, number 1, when we defeated Brazil at Atlanta 96. And the second was when, give it to him, Fani Kayode, when he was addressing the Congress sometime in 2006.
And he's on the list anyway.
I know. So that's why, of course, that's one of the welcome developments for me. That man is brilliant. Those are the kinds of people that you need. Whether they tell lies or not is secondary. And as a matter of fact, that nature to oscillate between telling lies and being tactful
is actually
what is needed of a diplomat. That's the truth. That's just the truth.
Still standing on what you're saying, Femi Kayode and Reno Mokri are 2 people that a lot of, especially a lot of young people, are saying.
It's because I used to say to a lot of people, international law, international relations, international politics is not your mate. It's not local politics.
Right.
Your knowledge of law, even as a lawyer, for instance, and you are grounded in municipal law, your knowledge of law terminates at the Murtala Airport. So we are talking about people who are grounded in international law. International law is a separate thing. That's why they call it, they say, and peremptory norms, usual, habitual things that are done. For example, I heard sometime in the news last week that our brother nation somewhere here, Benin Republic, are embarking on bicameralism. And I was like, could this have been a whisper from Paris? They don't need it. But you see, in international law, there's so much ego, flexing and so on and so forth. That is the way it operates. That was why some of us were a bit bitter about the way President Tinubu was lame duck when Trump was threatening and firing on all cylinders against Nigeria on the grounds of religion. You don't do that in international. You have to learn to fire back.
Right.
Okay.
That, you've looked at this list and you've agreed somehow that sometimes you need certain people to be your face, especially
people of bohemian nature. Brilliant people at the same time,
brilliant minds, even though sometimes you might think that, well, these people are individuals of questionable character, like they've said. Only this morning that the People's Democratic Party asked that the president withdraw that list because of names like Femi Kayode, names like Reno Mokri and others, in their own wisdom, in their own way.
That's extremist.
Mr. President,
you
cannot allow these individuals to be our face or the face of Nigeria on the international community. Here you are saying is extremist. Why do you think that call by the PDP is extremist?
Like I told you, again, maybe if they don't know Henry Wotton, who was a 17th century British diplomat, they should know Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill said, the task of an ambassador is that, look, as a gentleman, go ahead and tell our rivals in that other country that they should prepare for war and they should look forward to fighting. You know, according to, let me get his words exactly. He said, a diplomat or an ambassador should be able to tell you to prepare for a trip to hell, and then you look forward to going to the trip. So these are the kinds of people PDP should understand. This is not local politics. These are not even condemning Reno, neither am I condemning Fani Kayode. I want to call him Fani Kayode. All right, I think that's the Yoruba pronunciation, Fani Kayode. All right, so I don't want to label these people the way some of these people have come out to label them. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
All right, but I am saying that if I thought they belong to that class of mindset, those are the real masters at the game in international law. That is the way it is couched.
Okay. Aside from Femi and Reno Mercury, we also have Mrs. Lola Konde from Lagos State, Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, Ondo State, and Mrs. Florence Ajimobi representing Oyo State. And these are some of the names.
I think you should add Yakub Mahmood.
Yes, Yakub Mahmood. That is the sour point. For me, that is the sour point. Even though there's no abatement in our electoral laws yet, and that's a lacuna. And I think someone at the National Assembly, either as an honorable or the senator, should have started bordering on that. That's how we amend our law, so that we put it there in the law that anyone who has served as an umpire will have nothing to benefit from the state in the next 10, 20, 15 years.
Right.
No, I see that one.
Are you insinuating that this is like a reward system for Yakub Mahmood?
Obviously it is. You shouldn't, no, the president shouldn't have done this. And okay, yes, I agree. He should step down Yakub's name. I'm personally saying that from here.
Why?
He should step down because you see, if you have been a part of a system and then you have been called upon now to be an ambassador designate, even though we don't know your country yet, regardless
but
of
can he reject it?
On grounds of principle, he can. But on the grounds of, if he has enough principle, he can reject it and say, no, I don't want.
Okay.
Right.
All right, yes, he can't say that. But in order not to forestall such situation, don't even give it at all.
Okay.
Don't give it, don't allow it at all. I personally also strongly ask the president to step down Yakub Mahmoud's name.
So how about those other names? Lola Konde, Florence Ajimobi, what's the name of this one? Erelu, BC Adebayo.
No. You see, we agreed at the start that it's not necessarily about those.
Do you know who Mrs. Lola Konde is?
I've seen reports of her in the papers in the past, maybe some 10, 15 years ago or something like that. So he can bring anyone, provided
you know who she is. From the way you answered my question.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't put him on the spot.
No, I don't.
I
don't
think
know
Joy has a question.
Right.
We can take Joy's question. Joy, you can keep talking until the camera gets to you.
When I saw the list, I saw that it was a bit of interesting personalities. But again, and you have also talked about some of these personalities. But again, on the part of the National Assembly now, what do you feel should be the criteria that they should look out for when the screening processes begin?
Without mincing words, I told you, someone cast in the mold of Reno Mercury and Fani Kayode, it's all right for me. They are all right for me. These are brilliant people. These are people who can talk and make your rivals get so excited and carried away. That is the hallmark. I'm telling Nigerians, it's not about your own perception. Right. We don't like this guy. No, but so that is the person.
They are fit for the job.
They are fit for the job. I just quoted two persons for you. Winston Churchill and Henry Wotton. These are the hallmarks of a diplomat. Someone who will be able to engage the host nation, not someone who will go there and Trump backs at him and you're just named
Yeah, but still taking
a colorful person.
Still taking a cue from what Joy asked you. You also alluded to that fact earlier when you said we need to get away from the rubber stamp nature of the National Assembly. As these individuals get ready to appear before the National Assembly, should we expect that they just tell them to take a bow and go, or do they need to prove beyond reasonable doubt that they are indeed colorful individuals like you painted them?
They need to prove. Don't forget that in the past we've had ambassadorial designates who couldn't recite the national anthem.
Right.
And that's a sour one. We don't want such people to man our affairs outside.
Yeah.
And then I remember also at the beginning of this administration, President Tinubu was made chairman of ECOWAS, I think.
Yeah.
There was nothing from the National Assembly to even endorse or celebrate that. So you have put your own man in a box.
Yeah, but being chairman of ECOWAS doesn't need the National Assembly.
You don't understand what I'm trying to say. It's like when he became chairman, I wrote articles.
Right.
The National Assembly should laud it, should celebrate it.
Oh.
You see, we do things on the floor of the Assembly with motions.
Yeah.
We don't just come and talk on the Assembly from the Assembly now with misstatements. It's not a motion. Draft it, couch it in the form of a motion. Okay. Let papers, let gazettes, official gazettes, federal, states, let them all record it.
Right.
But they were lame duck.
Okay, so for these other individuals, sorry, Jibola, for these other individuals, I know we've picked out two young, well, not too old men out of the list. Jibola, read out a couple of what should they be doing when they get to their countries where they will be serving Nigeria? What are some of the things that they need to start putting forward? There are a lot of ambassadors that we do not get impact from in those countries that they go to. So when they go to those countries, what kind of image of Nigeria should we get from their places?
It begins with the personalities of these people. I'm saying it for the umpteenth time here. It begins with the image of these people, their own setting, the way they are wired. For example, you get a letter of credence across to the receiving host. They look at you, they assess you. For example, my professor will tell you, you are invited as an ambassador to a dinner, and then people can see sauce that you have fish and you are requesting for wine. It's not done. It's improper. You should know these things. Nigerian diplomats in the past have gone to sign treaties for Nigeria, and they've seen dollars, and they forgot why they went there, and then they just say yes to everything that was being discussed. There is an image of Jaja Wachuku in the 60s at the UN who said he slept to protest some racist remarks. But whether he was sleeping indeed or he wasn't, but the truth is we need to be active. It begins with sending great people. Now talking about Mrs. Ajimobi.
Mrs. Ajimobi, then Erelu Adebayo.
Yes, and even the Mrs. Lola Konde you talk about. You see, the president in this case decided to follow some certain patterns.
Compensate? Yes,
no doubt about it. And I remember
maybe gender balance.
Bianca, she was once made an ambassador, right? So gender balance, she said, it's all right. You see these women, they have come again. You see, you don't.
What is it?
You don't gender balance.
You know the relationship between Asiwaju and late Ajimobi, of course.
I'm
Adebayo.
That's for one person. How about the several other lists that came with it?
Yes,
she's talking about gender balance. Must you gender balance everything?
You have to. How would you gender balance everything?
You don't know who is Lola Konde.
You have to. Ajibola, can we leave this Lola Konde issue? Can we leave this?
Maybe okay, now I get it. Perhaps he's referring to my surname. I just got it.
No, don't mind him. He will tell you why when we leave.
Okay.
He will tell you why.
Talking more seriously now, looking at the quality of men and women that we have in our National Assembly.
That's true.
Abimbola put a question to you the other time. Do you see them having the confidence to reject any of these names?
I don't, honestly speaking. I do not. But I just pray that, at times, sometimes...
because somehow they would have met with the executive before the list is out.
Of course, no doubt about it. Everything would have been rubber stamped. But at times, someone will just get some moments of sanity to say no. For example, the Yakubu Mahamud thing, that one should not fly. Okay. I don't expect that one to fly. You couldn't have been a part of your system. You ushered in the government, and now you are being... I mean, it's just some...
People will read meanings to it, and they're already doing that.
They will definitely read meanings to it. Is Yakubu the only one who is fit?
Okay.
There are other people, for God's sake.
And there are other people from
there
that
are so many
state.
I told you, Professor Akinwe, body is still there.
Yeah.
There are people who are the Nigerian Institute. I go there most often. Professor Esaga is there, the DG of the NI. I mean, for crying out, there are great people who understand the nuances of what we are talking about. So why must we bring someone who came to conduct elections and he went on his own? Easy.
We need to leave this conversation here this morning. Thank you so much, Tosi Akonde, for finding time to lend your voice onto this conversation. We appreciate your thought.
Thank you.
All right, hold Jibola when you need to tell you why he has been hammering on Lola Akonde. We'll take a quick break. When the conversation returns, another conversation will be here.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.